Hey, this is Farmer Teacher on Farming Simulator 22. Today we're talking about potatoes, how to grow and plant and harvest potatoes. So what we're going to do is put some in that field right behind these two pieces of equipment. So first you want to check your field. What I'm looking at is this field right here. Okay, it doesn't have any weeds in it. It doesn't need lime, and it doesn't need plowing, so it's ready to go. Now, in order to plant potatoes, you can't use a regular planter. You got to have a special one for potatoes. So let's go to the menu under Potato Technology, and the two pieces of equipment on the far left, the GL420 for 46,000, does 3 meters wide, and you need 150 horsepower to pull it. And the GL860 Compacta 129,500 is twice as wide at 6 meters though, and you need 170 horsepower to pull it. So if you have the capacity and the money to get that, it's obviously the better choice, but when you're starting out small, sometimes you might have to get the smaller planter for potatoes. So I have them both here for you to take a look at. This is the little one, and that's the bigger one. And we're gonna try these real quick. I'm gonna jump on here and just put the little one on here. Now what I like to do on this particular field is do the ends a little bit first, or else it runs into the pole sometime. Messes it up. So I'm going to do a little bit right here with this little one. Now I've already sprayed this field with herbicide. That's why no weeds came up in it. So that's a pretty good thing to do, and I'll have another video on the weeds, but there's no weeds here. Now when we come back, you know, once this is planted, there might be some weeds. And that's the little one, 3 meters wide. So right there would be one swath for the other one. So the other one is twice as fast because their speed is the same at 7 miles an hour. And you only need 20 more horsepower to pull it. So if you can, get the bigger one. But if you have a little tiny field, you know, this little one will certainly do the trick. You just have to wait on it to get done. All right, I'm going to jump over here and try the bigger one now. Now both of these work equally as well. Sometimes a smaller piece of equipment doesn't work well, but this does. It's just slower. Well, I'm actually going to do the end a little more. There we go. Just so you can see the comparison side by side a little bit. So we'll get this over here. Let him go. Oh, I forgot he was bigger. When you unfold it, it's a little bigger. All right, let's try this puppy. And we're off planting potatoes. So you can see that's you know, twice as big as the first one there. So it's going to take half the time to do a field. So I'm going to go ahead and plant this field, and we'll be back with the next step for potatoes. See you in a minute. Bye. Hey, this is Farmer Teacher. We're back. It's April. We have planted our potatoes in March and gone on to the next month. And now they need fertilizing. Twice, I guess, because I forgot to do it beforehand. And we have to get rid of these weeds. So if you look down here, now potatoes are unique. There's two types of things, mechanical, that get rid of the weeds. There's a weeder and there's a hoe. And for potatoes, you have to use the hoe. Let me just show you that on the menu. So if you go over here, let me find where weeders are, right here. It's under the weeder category. The first one there is a weeder. The second one there is a hoe. And it's different than a regular weeder because you'd have to use the hoe if your weeds are more than small. So if they're medium, you have to use the hoe. But also, if it's potatoes, you have to use the hoe. The weeder will not work. I have this big weeder there on another field, but it will not work on potatoes. So what we have is this thing. So we're going to go over here, fire that up, and pull these weeds out. So if you have weeds turned on, and you could have it turned off, but if you have them turned on, you're going to need to use this gizmo, the hoe, not the standard weeder, for potatoes. I'm going to do the end and then come down the side just to show you here. Okay, we're going to get it going, and here we go. You can see the weeds. Watch the weeds come up. And there you go. It's pulling those weeds up, and we'll be good to go. Now, you could use herbicide, but you get a penalty for that once your plants are in, because it's killing your plants. It's kind of like cancer treatment, not the best. Side. There you go. Let me just show you on the map here. If you look at this field, our potato field here, the blue is weeds, or I'm sorry, the green is weeds, and where it has come off then, you can see we have gotten rid of the weeds there on this end and that little bit there. It should be blue. I should have fertilized it in March after I planted it, and I forgot. So I'm going to fertilize it when it's done weeding, and then fertilize it again next month. It will still be fine by doing that. So that's it. We'll be back here when this thing is done weeding, and I'll show you the next step. See ya. Bye. Okay, we're back in our potato field. We have gotten all the weeds out. We've gotten all the weeds out. You can see, very clean looking. But if you look at it, one, I forgot to fertilize it right after I planted, and we need to fertilize it again now. So what I'm gonna do is take my manure spreader here and go to the menu on the left, turn on or activate double application rate. Okay, so it should turn it dark blue then. We're going to take a quick look here in a second. So it's putting twice as much manure down. Luckily I have plenty of that. And let's see what color it's turning here. And it's turning dark blue. So we just got to do it this one time. It's just going to go a little slower doing it. And we'll have both fertilization applications here on our potatoes. And we'll be back with the next step here shortly. See ya. Bye. Hey, this is Farmer Teacher. Our potatoes are now ready to harvest. Our potatoes are now ready to harvest. So what we're going to do, there's a couple of ways to do that. If you go in here to, now the easiest way is to get this large potato harvester, but that's $600,000. I'm going to show you how that works. But before we do that, we're going to go the cheaper route. Like most people start out, and I'm going to show you this thing. You can pull this with a tractor, and it costs $205,000. However, if you read the fine print there, you also need a halum topper. That's this gizmo. So what this does is it goes through and removes all the foliage before you can use the harvester. So I'm going to show you those right now. We happen to have those right here. Okay, so once again, there's the harvester. That gets the potatoes out of the ground, but first you must run this little gizmo over there. So you have a little more expense as far as labor goes if you're not doing it yourself. So I'm going to run this Halem topper over here. See how this works. Little, so I shouldn't have much trouble end to end here. Line this up, get this guy going. All right, so he's cutting down all the foliage so this other harvester can dig out the potatoes out of the ground. Okay, so we're going to cut a couple of rows and then we're going to go try this harvester and see how it does. And once again, that's called a Halem topper. Need that to use the harvester that you pull with a tractor. The red one there that we have, the cheaper one, 205,000. Good job there. So once he's down at the end there, we're going to start the harvester and we'll see how that does, digging the potatoes out of the ground. This thing hums along at 9 or 10 miles an hour. And our potato harvester there, let's see. It goes at 6, so, and it's 1.5 meters wide. So once we're down here, go ahead, head over to the harvester. So what we're going to do here is unfold it. Probably should have got a little bigger tractor. Horsepower wise it's okay, but it's kind of small. But it should work all right. So when you line this up, you want the tractor just to the left of it, because the business end, and up against a pole. All right, he's getting potatoes. row there that you see, you can tell where it's harvested. It's a little bit lower. And that's what you do. So this thing fills up, and you can store them somewhere. Now potatoes, they don't go in your silo, so you have to store them on the ground. There's some building structures you can get that seat them inside. You can put them about anywhere and then go back and pick them up. But or you can take them to the market then. If you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, it's a different time of year. And there are some mods that do production facilities for potatoes, which are kind of cool. But that's how this harvester works. Once again, you got to do that halum topper first. I first played around with this. I couldn't get it to work, and that's the reason is I didn't run the halum topper. So you got to run that first, and then the harvester will go and harvest the potatoes. So that's it. That's it for potatoes. I'll come back and show you the other harvester here in just a second. We'll be right back. Okay, Farmer Teacher, we're back. This is our $600,000 potato harvester. It's really cool. Once again, at the menu here, costs $600,000, has 530 horsepower, goes 15 miles an hour in between, and it holds 22.5 cubic meters of potatoes. So once again, you can store those on the ground somewhere, or you could take them to the market. If you're trying to store them though for the best price, then you got to put them on the ground somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and jump in this puppy and run it down a few rows of potatoes. So we're going to unfold it. Pretty cool. Now with this piece of equipment, you do not have to use the halum topper. It is designed to go down and just dig the potatoes out of the ground. And I guess it does the topping stuff automatically, because you don't need to do that. So line this up a little bit. A little bit far left, but there's a hole there, so just want to show you. Now let me just show you the stats again, because remember our other well, it doesn't tell me. It goes 6 miles an hour. Doesn't tell me the width of the swath. Interesting. I don't think it's much wider if it is. It's easier to do. You only have the one thing to do. You know, go collect your potatoes, and it holds more, so you get less trips as far as collecting them. And that's it. So you just run the field, pick all these up at 22.5 meters. Say you collect them in a truck, put them somewhere, store them, go sell them, whatever you want to do. And there are a few mods that have potato production that you can use also. So that's all I wanted to show you. That's pretty much the cycle for potatoes. You got to figure out, you know, which way you're going to harvest them. Probably the other way when you start out, because this thing costs $600,000, but I got, you know, pretty good bit of money there, so no big deal for me. So that's it. Give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share the channel if you like what you see, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.